Welcome back to the Hennisphere, everyone, and welcome again to Six Flags Fiesta, Texas for a 7th week in a row of updates on construction and ride closures. This is the first time I've really filmed this ride since I've been doing updates, but I'm happy to say that we have a lot of construction updates on the DC universe today. Not just the 3 rides that are new, but the rethemed Poison Ivy ride as well. And I'm also going to show y'all how the parking lot has changed since 1 week ago. As you know, Fright Fest is still happening for another 2 weekends, and Oktoberfest is also still happening. Starting off in our favorite area, the parking lot, they have this forklift here sitting outside of the fence. A lot of rebar and wood, still where it was last week, but there's a whole row of porta potties now. Presumably these are for the contractors, I think, but they have moved the fence line. It used to be up against these cones, or just a lane over from these cones. Now it's all been squished over here on the other side of this water slide complex. All of the monorail pieces are now grouped together instead of being spread out. Some of them were over here behind where the porta potties are now, and they were all the way like here. Now it's like one herd. They've been combined. Oh, there's a couple more right there, but lots of updates over here. This is totally different than 1 week ago. Here's an interesting sign that I don't think I've seen before. Just letting you know that it's going to be a pretty packed day at the park, so expect the lines to be long. I'm not sure if that has something to do with the operations not having full staff, because I know in the past that has been a thing, but at least there's good communication on the long lines. So if anyone's wondering why am I waiting in line for 30 minutes, it's letting you know it's a lot more busy than it has been. Well, work walls are down for Poison Ivy Toxic Spin, and the sign is up in the front. According to Jeffrey Siebert, the park president, on Instagram, this ride will begin technical rehearsals very soon, and it looks great. I love this new theme. It's got a sign over here in the entry queue that I can't see what it is on the other side, but that should be getting updated and finished. And further along the back there, you can see that gray structure. That will be part of the shade for guests waiting in line for the Shazam Tower. And further back behind these work walls, you can really see all of the concrete that has been poured in the last 4 days, because this park was open on Monday and it was open again on Thursday this week, the only time that it was open on a Monday or a Thursday in the month of October. The concrete looks excellent, and you can see this wall over here with the Tyvek. That has also been more constructed than it was last week. And moving along the other side of the Zamperla nebulas, we have more shade structure going up right here, all of these gray poles. So every week we should be seeing a lot of updates on these new DC Universe rides. We'd love to see it. Another thing that the park president mentioned on Instagram is that November 10th is going to be a Bring a Friend for free for membership holders. Whether you have a Prestige Pass or the lower tier pass, November 10th is your day to bring a friend for free. Even more work walls are down right here by Batgirl Coaster Chase. It's actually open all the way around Poison Ivy Toxic Spin. So I'm gonna go get a look at that sign, see if there's anything on it. I really thought this area would be closed off. I'm surprised I'm allowed to walk back here. Oh yeah, okay. It's just giving you the warnings for this ride. Really good Ivy signage though. I can get an even closer look at the Shazam Tower. Very nice. And that must be controls, or maybe that's a shed for the Metropolis Transit Authority. But also over here, we can get a look at, I forget what it was called, but the little trucks ride that's getting rethemed to, I believe, the Penguin. We can see the work that's been going on here as well. A lot of concrete work. They've got the boom lift over here on the track. It looks like they've actually dug up the power rail. The power rail should be here. They've actually unbolted it, and there it is there. So they're gonna have to redo this entire ride. Wow. Because they've got obviously other construction going on that needs large equipment like this to run throughout this layout. So it's gonna be a while before the retheme is done on this, converting it into a penguin ride. Now the elephant in the room that a lot of you guys have asked me about this past week is Kid Flash Cosmic Coaster and what exactly happened. And I'm willing to tell y'all a bit of the story. So I mentioned the red train derailed last year, and actually I don't think that was quite true. Now that I remember it, I think it was the yellow train that actually had an issue with an axle failing and snapping, and part of the bogie assembly actually fell off of the ride and it landed on the ground right about in here somewhere before it makes that right turn to go past the station on the back side. Thankfully the train made it back to the station, but the fifth car was basically sideways, and no one was in there in that car. No one was in car 5, thankfully, but very scary situation. You never want to see that happen. The ride was closed after that around Thanksgiving in 2023, and then it reopened this year, but I think something very similar happened to the red train this time, and that's why it sits as it does now with the yellow train removed. And if you look carefully, the red train is not the full train. I count 5 cars there on that final turn. I don't know where the front car is, so we don't have any updates on it, but that day last year, I do unfortunately know what happened. Right here is where the bogie assembly actually fell off. And if you are close enough, once this ride reopens, you'll get a look at where it landed, because there is a gouge in the concrete. And further back on that final turn, as the coaster was scraping the LED panels, it gouged a hole in those as well, and some little very minor fires were started because of that. But again, no one was injured. The coaster barely made it back to the station. It did rip out the magnetic brakes in the station. And now I think it's time for it to get an update design-wise, so that never happens again. Still no updates on Roadrunner Express. As I said in the last video, it's going to be down for quite some time. I don't know exactly if they're waiting on a part or if they shipped something out to get worked on. Not sure, but Iron Rattler is open, and I'm gonna ride that one now because I saw one of y'all's comments about extra wood being added to the right side of the lift hill. So I'm gonna see if I can confirm that by sitting on the right side of the train. I'm not sure, but I will let you know. Now last week when I rode Iron Rattler, I did not have a flash pass for it. I got one for Poltergeist. And the line was right around this corner. It was all the way down the ramps, and it started about right here. And today, it's not even halfway down the ramps up there. So we're about, I guess, at half capacity that the park was at last weekend. And that was on a Sunday as well. Hopefully they're running 2 trains today.
Ready? Cycle board. Cycle board. One of the restraints.
Just got off the ride, and I really couldn't see anything all the way up the lift hill as far as new wood, but this right here tells me that this is the lift drive motor. And yes, there is some new wood there to the left, right here. That looks like new pieces of wood. So that's the only thing I can imagine that's new as far as wood goes on the lift hill. The motor itself in there, that must be the thing that had work done to it. You can see the train go above it. But this right here is another telltale sign that work was done. This equipment being right here. It's either for Rattler or for Roadrunner Express. I was looking through the merchandise here, they've got this, and it's $49.99, and it's a retro Iron Rattler poster. It's pretty sweet. I might have to come back and buy that. Of course, they also have the Conjuring Universe signs and holographic merchandise. You have the shirts, bobbleheads. Well, that is going to do it from Six Flags Fiesta, Texas today. Lots of updates on construction from the new DC Universe area. Some more info on Kid Flash, because you guys were wondering. And I looked into what you said about Iron Rattler, and I did find some new wood pieces around that lift drive motor. But in the coming week, you're going to see that Poison Ivy ride, probably testing only, and maybe in 2 weeks opening to the public. And you will also see new content on this channel, such as coaster rankings. One video will be coming this week, and I hope to upload one coaster ranking per week for the foreseeable future. But please check in next week or on Monday, and keep your eyes peeled for later this week for the coaster ranking from Silver Dollar City. It's going to be Outlaw Run. That was another day in the Hennisphere.